Hey Yoshi Dave. Give me a second to get things sorted here. Hello David. Thanks Yoshi. You couldn't even wait for me to get that started for you. Sorry guys, I'm a little mixed up here. I just gotta get a few things sorted first. That's all good, man. It's all good. I completely redid all my streaming stuff, so if anything's out of whack, please let me know. If the audio levels are bad, or the music's too loud, or any of the stuff that's normally not that way. And I have the dual streaming hopefully working correctly today. Okay, so we're going to be tying this with the orange thread as soon as I can find my bobbin. There we go. So we're going to be using uni. We're doing 8/0, I think. No, 6/0, sorry. Uni 6/0, no orange, rust. Was this rust orange? Rust brown. That was pretty much an orange. Rust brown. We're doing a polar shrimp today. Cool. Yeah, it was just driving me nuts all day this morning trying to get it. That's why we didn't have a stream earlier, unfortunately. Hey Robert, good to have you in, mate. So hopefully it was worth all the day and a half of gutting everything and redoing all my code and streaming stuff. I will endeavor to fix things as they break. But looks like we're up and running. And my audio bot's still working and all your little dudes are there. So we should have a horizontal and a vertical stream running. Until I got a better solution, I'm gonna have to toss you guys into the center there. I got a little. Here, I'll toss Rob in there too. There we go. We're gonna have to kind of huddle up in the middle here by the campfire. There we go. Just because I don't have, I'm sure I'll think of a solution shortly here, but for the vertical stream, it just cuts a chunk out of the horizontal stream. And if I have the little characters walking along the bottom for the whole horizontal stream, they'll just wander away, and you won't see them in the vertical for a while until they wander back. So I put some little like fake invisible blocks to kind of keep them somewhat together, but they don't have a spawn point necessarily. They just randomly drop down when people come in. So I'll have to keep an eye on that until I can find a solution to it. But not too worried about it. Alright, so we're just going to bring this right between the point and the barb there. This one's a size, what are we tying on? Size 2? Yeah, this is size 2. So it's a rather large hook for me, but we're getting into all of our large stuff like streamers and whatnot like that now. So this is actually a local pattern similar to the one that we tied the other day. This one was tied by, what was the gentleman's name now? Martin Tolley, who is also from Vancouver, BC, who used this for steelhead and it was like a standard summer run steelhead fly. So when they're still feeding, that's okay. I think he's too tall. Like I said, I gotta work some. And my mic. 1 second here, my mic's a little hot. There, that should be a little better. Okay. like I said, as we go tonight, I'll iron out the bugs. We'll get him back in here. Yeah, Stream Elements can go hang out in the corner. He doesn't need to be over here. And I don't have all my overlays set up yet, although they might surprise me and work anyway. Yeah, sorry. Yoshi went and threw me a donation before I even started here, silly booger. I didn't get a chance to thank him properly. So now that everyone's actually in the chat, thank you, Yoshi. I don't know why my chat actually started working before I even started the stream. That was a bit weird, but it's all good. Again, all my settings are back to default, so I'm gonna have to tweak them. So we're just going for a fairly thick tail base here. So a little bit more than a hook gap. And we're just using red rooster spay hackle. And we're going for about half the working body length. So it's not really a wet fly, it's supposed to imitate a shrimp. And there's probably patterns out there that do that job better, but really? I hate that. We definitely have our snowfalls here that, yeah, one time took me like 3 or 4 hours to get home on top of the regular time. I'm happy with that. Yeah, a little poofy butt tail. That'll work. Yeah, thanks, Yoshi. I appreciate that, man. I know you all work really hard for your bones, and it means a lot to me that you're willing to share that with me. Especially before I even start the stream. Come on, Yoshi. I see K-Fish Pro got his 50 subs finally, so he can start doing his live streams. So that's cool. Hopefully Trip will be pretty close behind him. So for this one we're tying in, it has a split body. Half the body is going to be in gold uni French. And I don't think I have any pieces cut ready. Or as soon as I say that, I'll find one. No, I think we're safe. Yeah, sorry I missed you guys yesterday. Like I said, I've been trying to put this streaming software all back together. It took me a fair bit longer than I was expecting, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm going to cut a couple hand lengths here. Ooh, and I'm going to let go, and the spool's going to go sprawling. Let's not do that again. Bad Nimby, don't do that. Oh, I need to take this song out of my playlist. It's just annoying. There we go. That's better. That's more my speed. Okay, so just going to tie this in the length of the body. So we're going to bring this all the way back. This is going to help to build up a little bit of bulk. So it's a half and half body. So half the body is going to be this uni French. I would use a large uni French if I had any in gold, but I only have medium. But I think it'll do just fine. But given the size of this hook, I would definitely use a large gold uni French if I had some. I have some really old vintage stuff in large, but I don't want to use it up on this pattern. I'll save that for some really nice salmon flies or whatnot. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little half hitch here. We'll just keep that up front so we can use the rotary to wrap it up. Ugh, I know. It's a very good way to describe this. I think when I put it into the playlist, I listened to just like the first part, which is actually pretty decent, and I just didn't listen to the whole thing. And I went like add, which sounds like something I would do. There we go. But yeah, hopefully I do have a different, trying to adjust things here. There we go. I do have a slightly different camera setup, so hopefully it's coming through cleaner for you guys and a little better focused and better lighting conditions. And we're just gonna wrap this touching turns. Hey Vilgrims, good to have you in, mate. Good thing I cut a few hand widths of this stuff because it looks like it's gonna eat it up pretty quick. We just want to go to the halfway point, just a little bit past, and we'll kind of back wrap the fluff of the next part on there. So yeah, that looks about good to me. Good to have you in, Vilgrims. Yeah, so on this one we got a gold, I want to say butt section, but it's a little bit longer to butt section. So half the thorax is going to be gold, the other half is going to be orange chenille, and this lovely orange, like fire kind of pumpkin orange, but it has like a, I don't know if it's going to come through on the camera, it might. It's got like a really shiny, almost mylar thread holding it together, so it's nice for this kind of pattern. If I can find the end. You're not the end. Where'd you go? Oh. Yeah. Not sure where I tucked it in, because that is the other end. Oh, never mind. I got it. My bad. We're going to go for same thing. Probably way more than I need. We're going to do a couple hand lengths on there. I'm going to do a few of these guys, so it's all good. After I do one or two, I'll have a better idea how much we'll need. This is a more modern chenille. This isn't like old or anything. Well, it might be more like 10 years old, but nothing crazy compared to my other stuff. It's a nice floofy modern chenille. And I'm not going to tie it in the whole length, I'm just going to tie in the end here. I'm not going to need to build up. Yeah, you can see that. Hopefully it's coming through on the camera, but you can see the mylar. One little strand of mylar on the top there. Yeah, I mean, I'll try and get some evening ones in here and there. Morning's been my thing. It just works better with everything, but when I have days off, I can do evening ones if I'm not too tired or busy doing other things. And we always have the VODs too, so feel free to jump on those. I do try to save them all. But I know it's better to hang out with everyone, you know. So, I don't blame you. I'm gonna throw a half hitch in that and we'll play with the rotary again here. I think David is just too big for my walls I put in the way here. Let's put him back there. Look at Vilgrim's back here too. There we go. Oh, we got a mess of everyone right in the middle. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and figure that out. Maybe the blocks weren't the best idea. Unfortunately, they have to be bigger. I can adjust the size of everything. I might have to. Everyone looks huge compared to what I was expecting. Okay, so we're just gonna curl this up. And we're gonna go halfway, which is actually more like a quarter because I gotta tie a wing in and a few other things. Gerg. Okay, that'll do. Yeah, so we got a wing of polar bear again. Everyone likes their polar bear. And we have a weird kind of flap of the hackle that goes about an inch long. Can't think of too many other patterns I tie that actually have that, so I think it might be kind of specific to this pattern. But yeah, this is another classic one. If you go into like a local BC Fly shop, you're probably going to see these there in some form. Even though all the books I have on them say that they're tied in between 2s and was it 2/0 or 1/0? 1/0. I've seen these tied down as small as 8s and 10s for some of the inland areas for like up the Fraser and whatnot. Okay, so we got that all tied in. Next is going to be the polar bear. So let me fight with my bag here. I got to dig him back out. Sorry, David. I'm going to have to let you wander around. You just keep jumping over my block. You're just too big of a chicken. Now, if you don't have orange chenille for some reason, now that it's hard to find, you can use a orange poly yarn, and that'll work just as well. You can use an orange, I've used this orange Fentex to tie them before. It's got a nice bulbous round wrap to it, so it works quite well for that. There you go. And we'll get some polar bear going here. There you go. Yeah, you get some big old hackle off that guy, right? Okay, so same as the last one. Yeah, kind of, I guess. It does have like a bulbous, it's not the head, this kind of holds up the wing and the hackle more than it is a head shape for like a muddler, but yeah, I see where you're going with that. Just trying not to get too much under fur here, because I really just need the, I'll try more on the side. And the overwing on this is quite sparse. It's really just to show some flash like the shrimp would have for its exoskeleton up top there. And a lot of times they'll have little air bubbles and that kind of thing. That's really what we're trying to imitate. And of course, if you don't have polar bear, because it's hard to come by, feel free to just use some white bucktail. Or if you got white craft fur, that would work just fine too. Actually, the white craft fur might even work better than the bucktail. Just gonna pull out all that under fur. Gonna need a comb here. We don't want the under fur. Not gonna help us at all. We don't want it thicker there. We want it actually thinner. Yeah, I just caught your video today, Rob. You did a good job, mate. That one clouser and the craft for minnow that you did, and the yellowy green woolly booger were well done. Very impressed. That's cool to start filling up a box like that with your own stuff. Yeah, it takes a bit to get used to the cold camera thing. You do fine though, you do really good. You just keep up with it and it'll get easier every time you do it. Okay, tried to clean that up a little better. So that's kind of all we're shooting for, is just a little shuck. It doesn't even have to go all the way down the back like this. Just like right to the tail base is fine. Again, it's just to act as the to throw light and everything like it would have with a regular shrimp with its I want to say carapace, but I don't know if that's the right term for that part of the shell or not. I'm assuming it is a type of carapace, but it probably has a proper term that I am not grabbing in my brain right now. But everyone knows what I'm talking about. Top part of the shrimp. Okay, so we're going to cut that off, add a little dab of glue, and then tie in the rest here. But happy with how that fell. Oh yeah, we got our 1,000th subscriber. I have no idea who it was, but whoever it was, thank you. I was bouncing around between 997 and 998, 999, back to 997 for like 2 days. I was like, come on, YouTube, just do your thing. Stop being such a tease. Alright, we'll throw a little bit of, I don't know if I really want to go super glue on that. I'm not even sure where my super glue is, to be honest. I'll just use head cement. Hey, good to have you in, mate. Oh, there's my super glue. Thank you, honey bunny. Ugh. That means she probably borrowed it. You gotta let your wife borrow your fly tying supplies, because you borrow so much of her nail polish and makeup and everything. Oh, yeah, I think I fixed that, because when I redid all my settings, I finally found the like hidden setting that wasn't letting people in unless they were subscribed, even though I had that option unchecked for months, but it should be fixed now, so thank you. I gotta thank everyone else, because they're the ones that did all the work. I just showed up every day. I'm gonna do a nice 1K subscriber video that I've been working on. There we go. We're just gonna wrap that down. I'm gonna give that a minute here to dry though, because I don't want to get my hackle all gummed up in it. But that will definitely help us with that slippy polar bear. Okay, so for the next part of this, we're gonna do a couple of these guys, to be honest. My lovely, wonderful wife's gonna make me some, or make us both some dinner, and then when dinner's ready, I'll take a break. And then we're gonna play hobbits. Go run around in Isengard on our horses. Okay, so our next part is orange hackle. But the difference with this fly, like I said, the only fly I know that I tie that does this is they want an inch of the hackle or more, depending on, basically sits on top of your hackle like this. So I'm going to cut that out first, tie that in, and then we'll get the wraps going. But here, I'll turn the fly so you guys can see it a little better. You just cut off the end of your hackle, your spay hackle, and it goes on top like that plate we were talking about for the shrimp. And I can't recall any. I'm sure there might be some other patterns out there that ask you to do that kind of thing, but this is the only one I could think of off the top of my head. It's not quite like a wing because it's going to sit flat. Just going to try and get that roughly the right size here. Yeah, that looks about good. Telephone. I think that's my mom. I'm just gonna shred off a few fibers on either side just so we have a little tie-in point. Don't need anything crazy because the hackle's gonna hold it in. And this is the point in the fly tying scenario that we realize that we're over 40 and we need our glasses to see stuff, so I'm gonna grab those. And just like, yeah, 3 or 4 fronds from either side will probably be enough. There we go, so we got a little nub to tie in there. We're gonna tie this guy in flat right on top. And try and get the shiny side up, if I can manage to figure out which one the shiny side is. Probably should have paid attention to that before I cut her off. I think that's the way. It's hard to tell because it's such an iridescent shiny feather to begin with. But I think I'm happy with that, so we're going to go with that. Now normally I'd be tying this in with a soft wrap, but with that much extra glue on top there, that's still like semi-wet, I think we'll be just fine. There we go. It's not like a crazy detail or anything, but you can see it just on top there. It just gives it that extra orange look through. Just like that. That's all you really want. So it's not like a stand-up wing, it's just want to lay it down on that polar bear. Like I was saying the last time here, I'll shut this light off again. It doesn't throw my camera too out of whack. Now you can see how like iridescent the polar bear is. How it just like grabs the light and just throws it all different directions. It's really cool stuff. I'll turn that back on. Bink! There we go, back at it. Okay, and so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie this in. Actually, I'm gonna shred off some of this fluff that we're not gonna be using anyway. And I'm gonna try and tie this tip in. Yeah, it's hard. The other one, the blue light that I have on the side here actually works really well with it. Like any UV really makes it pop, and the blue LEDs have a good bit of UV in them. I'm just wondering if I should tie you in like this, and then wrap you. Or go this way. Yeah. Here, I'm just gonna see how ridiculously oversized these are gonna be. And it does call for a very robust hackle, so I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make it a robust hackle. I'm gonna take a few more strands off the bottom here because they're just a little wispy. We're gonna make this work with what we got here. I don't want to cut the tip off and not use the rest of this feather, so we'll make it work. These are kind of the smallest ones I have of this kind of bright orange spay hackle, so it would be nice if they were like a size or two smaller, but again, work with what you got, right? There's a few methods I could use to pull this off and get a hackle in there. Yeah, exactly. It does call for like the actual recipe calls for orange saddle hackle dressed fully, 1 inch of hackle tip tied in across the back of the wing. So if it's asking it for it to be dressed fully, I'm assuming it wants a nice thick, slightly oversized hackle, because shrimp have a lot of legs and they're fairly long, so I'm okay with that. I don't think it's gonna look bad at all. Thank you. Oh, is Dusted in? Welcome in, Dusted. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing up a 1,000 subscriber video, like, don't we all? I do end up using them eventually. I have a whole box full, and I do separate them so like my grizzly hackle and my red hackles all in one kind of go, and I'll use them for like nymph legs and stuff like that. I do actually get to using them, but not nearly as often as I would like, especially when I'm on here doing like demonstrations for people. I don't necessarily want to be using like my cast off garbage, even though I technically could. I should do that as a thing though. We should do that one night and just actually just tie with my waste basket and just tie up flies with whatever garbage I got floating around in there. That would be a fun night. We should do that. Okay, so I'm just grabbing the end of the longer hackle here, so I got something to hang on to. And I don't think I'm gonna try and get in there to the racus if I can. And I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna try and stay fairly tight. No worries, tea's always worth taking a break for. I just made myself a nice fresh, been really on the Earl Grey kick. I like my Earl Grey in the winter. And then I'll probably go back to Pico or something else in the... I have had that happen. Where you pull out that, you see like, you take like the careful glance inside the bag, right? And you're just looking for that one kind of roughly right-sized feather, and you see it, and you go to pull it out. Out comes like 15 other ones behind it, and you're like, trying your best to cram them back in the bag. In the Queen's metric, that's 12. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's I know I don't do the numbers thing as much as a lot of other channels do. Because to me, it's like it's a never-ending treadmill, right? So, but I'm very happy to have my 1,000 subs. That's 1,000 people that I've impacted in a positive way, and that's really cool for me. Okay, I wonder if I get one more wrap in. I'm going to be pushing this back and tying it back, so it's not going to look like a dry fly here. That'll help to get rid of a little bit of the length in this front section of the hackle, which actually would have been more useful if I did that, tying the hackle in reverse, so we're tying with the short stuff first, but... Thank you. That's the thing is, like, we're growing as a little community, right? There wouldn't be any point in me sitting here doing this if there wasn't you guys to hang out with and chat and help out with different problems, and that's where it all comes together. That might have been a little... For this one, this is just a rooster spay hackle from a saddle that's dyed orange in a very, very bright, shiny way. So it's a very proud boy. But unfortunately, it's also very big. And I lost it. 1 second. I think I had one wrap too many there anyway, so. I really want that extra wrap in there, but it's not really going to do anything for the fly. Oh, okay. That really jumped. Okay, we got to restart over here. My bad. And that was actually working out pretty well too. Not too bad. Alright, so I'm going to actually preen this back as I'm wrapping it this time. So we can try and get a little bit more of that wet fly bent back look. That's really what I'm going for. Yeah, that was 100% me. I just wasn't holding attention. I was trying to find out why it was jumping that last bit forward more than I was trying to keep the tension on. That's very true. Dang road trout. They're in cahoots with the rock bass. Yeah, I'm totally spending way too much time on this hackle. I could really just wrap this back and then do like a thread dam on the front to push it all back. And it would probably look almost exactly like it's going to look with all the effort, but it wouldn't be a Nimby fly if I didn't go overboard, eh? Okay, so this time we're not going to go with the extra wraps, and we're going to tie it off right there. And this time I'm going to keep tension on this stupid booger. And there. Hey, got her. Yeah, so you want like a big old messy hackle there. Yeah, I'm gonna back wrap this and bury this little tag end in there. These are such nice little fibers too. Like it's hard. I don't know if the camera's picking them up, but they're like really translucent. They're almost like a microfibet. They're really cool. Wish I had more of this hackle in other colors, to be honest. It would make great like olive green for things, or like a dun color, or like a ginger. It'd be great for that. But bright orange works too. You generally get the, like most of the dyed hackle that you get like this is going to be like from your leg bars and your like the white roosters, which gives them that translucent quality too. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking, like the what do you call it now, the not cockdillion, because that's kind of the opposite, where you have a really nice speckle, but it has the sheen of like a cockdillion hackle, And of course it's not. It's like the cheapest hackle you can get. But it has the sheen to it, and when you add different dyes to it, you can speckle it. I had at one point, I had some really nice, it was like on olive green, like an off olive green. Have I ever tried feather? Oh, trebles. I'm sorry, my audio bot was pronouncing that very wrong. Had to stop and have a look there. Yeah, feather trebles for sure. I used to fish a lot of treble hooks when I was younger, especially in the rivers, and when we're going after like carp and things like that. But they're pretty much, other than a few certain scenarios, they're pretty much illegal in BC now. A lot of stuff is single barbed hook or single barbless hooks. I know a lot of people probably notice that I don't debarb my flies. I believe in barbless fishing. There's very few cases where you really want to have a barb on there anyway. However, because I give away most of my flies to other fishermen, I let them make that call if they want to debarb it or not. So most of my flies in my box are always going to be barbed, and then when I hit the water, I'll debarb it. But yeah, I've done. I'm just going to finish this off. My dog really wants outside because, of course, I'm getting at the half-hitch part, and that's where he always wants to go outside. I'll get to him in a sec here. He's not going to die in 30 seconds. Although he's going to act like he's going to. He's like perishing. You're fine, buddy. You were just outside. Oh, actually, we should probably cut that through. We should. What? Dog, you're driving me nuts here. Just give me a minute. Being distracted by the canine. Yeah, that's the way he acts. He's such a suck. I love him, but he's a suck. He doesn't really want outside. What he wants is he wants a bone. And he always gets a treat or a bone when he comes back in from patrolling the yard. And a lot of times he'll just want to go outside just to get the bone. See, now he's got the bone, he's all happy. So we're just going to put our head cement on here, and that's going to melt the wax and soak in. Then we'll put a little dab of Sally Hansen's on there. But yeah, there's plenty of more modern patterns that imitate a shrimp, you know, loads better than this thing does. But it's extremely effective. Like I said, if you're in a fly shop in BC, there's probably several slots in their box that have these things in it. You'll see them in green too, like a light green, more like an olive than a chartreuse, but like a really pale green. Depending on the time of year, the shrimp will go through different phases. And this also works really well in like a really light pink. And I've seen people tie it and fish it with like a blue tail for whatever reason. I'm not sure why you'd want to have a blue tail on it, but it is generally used for steelhead and salmon, and blue is one of those attractor colors for the steelhead, so I'm assuming they just did that. But if it works for you, it works for you. I don't even know if any of my recording software is going to work for the spin and spiels and all that stuff. But like I said, we're going to iron all the bugs out over the next little bit. But yeah, if you guys are watching on a larger format device like a TV or sideways tablet or whatever, we should have a full horizontal feed as well as the vertical. But I think I might have to let the little dudes just kind of run rampant because they get stuck. Let's see if I can drag you guys drag a few of you back in here. There we go. Excuse me. So there we go. That's a polar shrimp. And it's also called a tolly, which was, you know, the original maker's last name, so it was Martin Tolley. It was from Vancouver, BC. So yeah, some people will just call these tollies because they honestly look more like a steelhead fly than they do a shrimp necessarily. But that's what he was going after. Yeah, they do that. Yeah, he'll do that too. Like he'll jump up and take my warm spot in the bed, and then just put his feet out and be like, "No, mine." I'm happy with that one though. That turned out pretty good. I was a little worried that the hackle would have been, you know, a couple sizes too big, but I'm actually pretty happy with that. That worked out pretty well. It is a big hook, so it's gonna need some good size hackle. So I'm gonna try and do my spin and spiel here. I'll be right with you guys. I'm happy all the streaming software is working good, and hopefully it looks a little more in focused and better white balance and everything for you guys. So today in the vise we have a polar shrimp, or a tolly. It was originally tied by Martin Tolley from Vancouver, British Columbia. This was used for sea run, summer run, steelhead, and salmon. It's a very popular pattern that's been used all up and down the west coast of BC and all the tributaries along the Fraser and the Thompson, anywhere that has inlets to the ocean. Very effective fly. It's also tied on a light green, like a light olive green, and a light pink. A lot of people just call them tollies. The original name was polar shrimp. And it's tied on a size 2, and it has a red rooster hackle, spay hackle tail, a oval gold uni-French tinsel body halfway up with a thorax of orange chenille, some polar bear for an overwing, and spay hackle just rested on top of the overwing with a nice orange thick hackle up front. Wonderful pattern, super effective for steelhead and salmon as they're coming up. As long as they're still feeding, they'll nail this thing pretty good. Great search and pattern, you should have a couple in your box, eh? Okay, we'll have to see if that actually worked or not. Find out later. Hey Luca, thanks for having you in. Or thanks for coming in. Wow. Yeah, that's the problem, is once he gets the chair or the bed, like, then they don't want to move. And if, like, you do manage to, like, psych him out so you can get the spot, then he'll be all upset. And he'll, like, try and get, he's vindictive, he'll try and get even with you. Hey Luca, sorry your cow's stuck over there, let me grab him for you. There you go. Hey Muddy. Let's drop Muddy the penguin over here too. There we go. Right on his head. There we go. Oh, and Dusted jumped. Alright, my last time, I'm gonna grab Dusted, throw him in here too. There we go. I'll find a solution to that. I think I might just have to let them run around. Yeah, yeah, I can drag them around and drop them and do things. Yeah, that's a cool little pattern. I'm quite happy with that one. Nice big old sturdy hook too. Let's get a couple of those done. Hey, Jack Pepper. Yeah, it's wonderful colors. You can see, like, you guys can use your imagination and see, like, what it would look like if it was light pink or green. Ugh. Second, I didn't really get that in my vise quite right. Stay until I put this down. Stay. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, that's what I used to use most of mine for. Is I'm trying to think. Like we used to make like kind of like a Panther Martin, and we used to make like wedding rings with the beads. But yeah, that's fun and easy, right? If you got a whole bunch of like, kind of like meh feathers kicking around, like the end of a colored feather or colored rooster cape or something, you can just tie up a whole bunch of treble hooks. White, red, you know, whatever works for you. We're gonna do that thread base all the way down here again. I can't really do that kind of thing here in Canada unless I had a heated shop, which I don't have a big shop, but it's not heated. I could fix that with a wood stove, but still. You want to have a nice even temperature for doing something like painting. But I like watching other people do it. Especially the powder paints. There you go. Yeah, I think David would like these extra floofy ones for sure. Yeah, you don't need anything special for treble hook feathers. You really don't. Not that it hurts anything to have nice feathers on them, but you know, like even tying in this kind of stuff, because they're gonna get busted up like right quick. Yeah, Dustin's great. He's a really good part of the community. He helps out a lot of channels. I am honored to say I know the gentleman. So we're just doing about half the working body length there for the tail. Nothing crazy. Probably actually the same as the gap height. I didn't measure it, but that would be also roughly what I'm shooting for. And that's probably more accurate measure for it. So we'll say the gap height, even though I didn't do that. I'm actually going to leave this tail and I'm just going to cut the butts off there. Just to give it a little bit of a thicker body there. I don't think it's necessary, but that's what we're going to do on this one. See if it makes any difference. Because I did have a little bit of a step drop off on that last one, which I wasn't super happy with, but it's not a big deal. Just going to build that up. So I'm hoping that'll give me a little bit more of an even body. I can still see a little bit of a drop here. There we go. Nimby's being too picky again. There we go. Alright, we used a lot more of this gold tinsel than I thought. Yeah, you sure have, mate, and I'm very happy for everything you've done, not only for me, but for all the other channels. You were just... Okay, you haven't actually gone outside yet. Okay, I'll let him outside this time. He totally just wanted a bone, though, that first time, didn't he? Here, dog, you have to wait till I tie in this tinsel, okay? Watch, he'll just, like, self-combust. Start smoking. I'm gonna tie it along the top here, but, I mean, really doesn't matter. I don't think if you tie it on the top or the side. I normally tie mine along the side. I get at least 3 or 4 good wraps at the base there, just so you got something to pull on. I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit. There we go. That's gonna stay in the material clip, and I'll be right back. Let my dog go up. And I'll see if he actually has to go outside, or if he's just gonna stand there, pretend like he had to go outside, and then just want back in. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna tie this back up here. He's just a whiny baby. He doesn't bark so much. Yeah, if anyone needs help jumping around to subscribe to anyone else, just let me know, and I'll toss you a mod thing so you can get over there. But if you can do it yourself, fill your boots. And my dog goes back already, so I'll let him back in. 1 second. My amazing, wonderful wife is cooking some breakfast omelets for dinner. We actually like having breakfast for dinner every once in a while here. And that bacon frying up is making me hungry. Love me some bacon. I'm just going to try and get this wrapped around the base without interrupting the tail. There we go. Once you get your first couple wraps fairly solid. I know, isn't it? Especially when we got chickens, we get nice fresh eggs. Just trying to keep that fairly tight. It doesn't look like it is, but... That sounds fabulous. I love leftover pork. Alright, we're gonna tie it off there, because we can always back the chenille up a hair. I don't know, it just didn't look like I got it as tight as I could have, but don't tell anyone. Shh. It's freaking perfect. There we go. I don't know, it looks, when I'm looking at it, it looks tight, but yeah, I love breakfast dinner, especially when my wife makes omelets and stuff. We had breakfast dinner fairly often because we were with all the chickens. We get like excess eggs all the time whenever spring and summer were coming, and they start pumping them out, and you gotta use them up somehow. And we found like quiches were actually really good for that. You can make a quiche and use up a lot of egg, and it's freaking tasty, and you can use up your leftover like meats and onions and all that stuff. Yeah, sorry I missed the tie-up this morning, guys. Like I said, I was fighting with all this software to get everything up and running again. But I think I got her. I think we're good. Seems like it's working okay. It's going to take me a little bit to iron out the bugs. Yeah, that's the best part of it, is you can just kind of toss whatever you got hanging around in there. There's no real rules for it. But yeah, potato works good, squash works good. It's a nice kind of thing like in the fall when you're cleaning up your garden and you have just excess of everything. Duck eggs are nice, they're rich though. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you like a nice rich egg, duck egg will do that. We don't keep ducks here. There are people around here that do keep ducks, but it's just they're such sweet little animals. Oh, I seen that, Dustin. I didn't actually click on the video, so I guess I didn't fall for the joke. But I did see it in the feed. And I think I actually recall Luca's comment too. But yeah, ducks require a good bit of water to, have a good healthy life and everything. And up here in this part of Canada, it's really hard to keep liquid water around for several months, so we just do the chickens, and they handle the cold pretty well. I'll have to check that out, Dustin, now that I know what it's about. That's funny. That's true. Duck eggs, I hear. I haven't actually had a pickled duck egg, but I heard they're super tasty that way. They, from what I hear, they pickle better than a regular egg. And I do like my fermented and pickled stuff, so I would probably eat that. Ha! That's funny. Yeah, there's no shortage of waifu t-shirts now. At least you know what to get them for birthdays and Christmas and stuff. Just trying to clean all the fluff out of this. Really? I haven't even thought about that. They must be freaking huge. I imagine a turkey egg, I mean, it's not as big as like an ostrich egg or something, but they gotta be a good size. Can't say I've ever had a turkey egg. I don't know why you couldn't, though. Okay. Big plastic tub for the eggs? Okay. Do they lay fairly often? I imagine such a big bird they probably don't, but like I said, I don't keep turkey. Again, there's people up here that do. There's no... Don't worry, Greg. Heck, thanks for coming in, mate. Always good to have you. Glad you could catch one of the evening streams. I'll probably try and do the odd evening one here, maybe once or twice a week. Yeah, see you. Have a good evening, man. Okay, so again, we're just doing that. I cut the tips off to get them a little shorter, because again, we're not making really a wing here. We're just going for that translucent cover over the back. Really? Okay. Probably more like a chicken than a duck. I got a little split in my thread there, so I'm gonna put on extra wraps here. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, if I caught the hook point or not, or if it's just a split. Either way, I'll be mindful of it until that goes away. I'll cut this off and then I'll add a little bit of super glue. It seemed to work really well last time. That cut nice. Yeah. Always nice when a plan comes to fruition, eh? Well, fly tying crack addicts are going to start coming out of the woodwork. And I forgot to shake you, so hopefully you're not going to be too wet. There we go. I swear this was a thicker glue when... Oh, I bet. Yeah, I never even thought about that, but yeah, duck eggs with baking would probably make them all the better, right? Hi, Ethan. Thanks for stopping in, mate. I don't know how it does that. I'm not sure if you'll see it if I turn it here. Yeah, not really. But the eye is completely covered in head cement, even though I was like super careful. Well, you have a good one, Stardust. Enjoy your movie, man. Always good to have you in, Dustin. Enjoy your movie. I don't know how that leaks into the eye so bad. That leaves all this white gunk. Oh well. Is what it is. I thought for sure I nailed that one. Alright, so let's do the same thing we did last time. Gonna grab another feather here. Do 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 do. Look at that beauty. That's a beautiful feather. Look at that. Transparent. It's like a tangerine. I had a chance to grab more packages of this orange, but I don't normally, at least in my mind, I didn't tie with it that often. Now I'm ended up tying with it more often and wishing I grabbed the other packages. Because it's actually really nice stuff, if not for being overly long. For me, anyway. This would make really nice, like, bait fish stuff. If you're doing almost like a brook trout orange along the base or something. Yeah. We're doing some, like, brook trout fins. Yeah, no kidding. I was totally just, I thought I had that nailed. I thought for sure, just nice little tiny dab. Yeah, they're really pretty. I mean, I'm sure the camera isn't doing them justice, but they're really, really translucent. I wonder if I can get them on an angle where the light's gonna... There we go. Let's see how shiny they are at the tip. They have a really nice, glossy, translucent quality to them. Alright, so let's cut that tip out like we did on the other. Let's not drop the feather, Nimby, come on. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Yeah, we finally made 1,000 subs, so that makes me happy. And I'll just be working towards the watch hour goal, which I'm actually like really close to. Probably get it within a week or two here, to be honest. It's been an uphill battle because I lost, because it's a running year total of your watch hours, eh? And you need 4,000 watch hours. I'm sure most of the people in here are aware of all that. But I was at like 3,800 several times, and then I had a number of videos that worked or hit off really well last year at this time, and a few of them had like 300 to 400 watch hours each, and then their time came up and ticked over. And when they tick over, you lose all that time. So it's been kind of an uphill treadmill. But I think I'll get it within a week or two here, which will be cool. Yeah, there we go. I'm happy with that. See? It's right on top. I can see how that would be more effective than actually... Well, I'm not going to be watching a movie, but I'm going to be playing a MMO that's based on a movie. And a book. And a board game. I don't know if that counts. No worries, man. They're there for prosperity. You enjoy yourself and fill your boots. They technically are. I got them from a gentleman who passed away, who ran a shop here. Maybe about an hour or two, or probably closer to 2 hours away from me, in a city called Falkland. And he passed away, and I ended up buying most of his stock, which I'm very thankful for. Good luck with that. Remember, they can smell fear. Okay. I'd normally throw a half hitch in, but since we're having so much trouble with the last one, I'm going to not half hitch it just in case I had to take it out. I think we got her in there pretty decent. Yeah, you can't hide. That's silly talk. Okay, let's see if we can get this done all right this time. Yeah, enjoy the movie. Oh, that sounds awesome. Okay, almost done. Just gotta get this hackle to play ball. I think this will be my last wrap here. I'll probably get one more in, but it's just, I don't think it's gonna play proper. So, get that up here. There we go. Ha! You tell him. Yeah. One of these little young fisher guys up here just got himself a new, I don't want to say the brand name because I'm probably going to get it wrong. I can't remember if it was a Polaris or if he got I think he got an Arctic Cat. But yeah, I can hear him ripping up and down occasionally. Alright, now I'm actually going to tie that off. I was going to go for one more wrap, but I think we got her. We just, like, what snow we had is pretty much gone now. Like today anyway. So, because we were, what did we get up to? Like plus 12 or 15 today? Like, kind of ridiculous. Man, it's January. I'm normally minus 35, minus 40 this time of year. It's kind of nuts how warm it is. And all of our, like, we do have some ice on the lake, but with these warm temperatures, it's not safe anymore. There's gonna be so many rotten pockets of ice out there. It's not worth falling in. Maybe we'll get another cold snap, and get some fishing in. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this back as soon as I get my thread somewhere useful. There we go. Try and get it all back. There we go. And it doesn't take a lot. We're just gonna make a little bit of a thread dam just in front of that. That'll hold it back. That's really all we need. And I'm just gonna get that little lump done there. There we go. She's pretty. That's a nice orange hackle, and it goes so well with that orange chenille too, actually. Now that I'm looking at it, these colors are very, very similar. And I love this orange, I keep calling it orange, but like it's actually called rust brown, so. But to me it looks orange. And then like when you put a little bit of head cement on it, and it soaks in, it turns into that kind of rusty brown color when the wax wears off of it. And it gives it that really cool, like darkened, burnt. Yeah, I'm trying not to. I don't have a whole lot of it. I only got a little Ziploc baggie of it, and we have a lot of, as you can tell, I keep digging into it every couple days here. But for my list of steelhead flies, there's actually quite a few that require this orange hackle. I might have to try and source me out some more. But that's all I got left. There's actually more in there than it looks like because it's fairly well packed in there. But that's all I got. Yeah, I just like the way that the head darkens up when you get the head cement on it. I didn't whip finish this, did I? No, I just did the... Let's get a whip finish on that. I don't think I whip finished it. Now I'm second guessing myself. Did I whip finish this? No, I just half hitched it. Distracted looking at feathers. Well, that's never happened before. Doesn't sound like something I would do. There we go. Boop. There, tighten up you. There. Did you actually go? Yeah, you did. Oh, alright, this will be the last fly because my wife's cooking is driving me nuts. I can smell that bacon. Love you, honey pie. Thanks for making me bacon. Yeah, she's pretty. I like that one. My wife keeps telling me I gotta make prettier looking flies too. Right here. Yeah, and I'm hungry. I didn't really have much for lunch. Ooh, shiny. Yeah. It's all fly tying supplies if you're motivated enough. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good little guy. I like him. What do you think, everybody? What do you think? You like him? You like him? I think he's pretty. Yeah. She likes the colorful ones. There's just something about bacon when it's frying up that just makes the whole old factory system start kicking over, you know? Try and get a little in there. There. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm happy with both those. I think they turned out rather good. I'm just gonna get my bodkin. I do have a little bit of glue kind of stuck under here. And that super glue that got all over the eye somehow. It's almost like anti-seize or never seize or whatever that proper term for that stuff is. You get a drop of that somewhere and it just goes everywhere. Yeah, it's an interesting pattern. Who doesn't? Freaking love bacon. There we go. Try and cut that out. Not sure if it's a little bit of polar bear or if it's just a... It might just be a little bit of the super glue that's dried on the side. Either way, I'm not too worried about it. Small enough I can barely see it. Alright, just gonna do my spin and spiel. David, you keep bouncing over the thing. Hey, cool. Good for you, Yoshi. What am I doing here? Sorry guys, I'm a little bit, like I said, I redid everything, like all my apps. All my coding and everything got all wiped out, so trying to take advantage of this dual streaming thing. I don't know if it's gonna turn out to be worth it or not, but hopefully we get some people watching on larger screens as well. Just gotta wait for the clock. Sorry, 6 o'clock, my alarm, or my big clock's going off. There we go. Oh, today in the vise we have a polar shrimp. This is tied on a size 2. It can be tied from size 2 up to a 1/0. It has a red hackle fibers for the tail, a golden uni French body tied up halfway with a orange orange chenille body for the top of the thorax. Then it has a polar bear overwing with a little orange hackle on top of the polar bear overwing, and a nice thick beefy hackle orange front from rooster hackle. Wonderful little pattern. This is also called a Tully. It was originally tied on Vancouver Island by Martin Tully, and it was fished up and down not only the island and the mainland, but the Fraser River, all the tributaries leading down to the ocean, the Thompson, the Fraser, and all the little tributaries up and down the west coast. Wonderful little pattern. Should add a couple to your box. This is a really classic British Columbia staple. Happy to have it in the box. Thanks, guys. And we're back. Okay, guys, that bacon's driving me nuts. I got a little bit of tea left here, so... Oh. I'm not sure if we're still on or not, because my YouTube thing just crashed. 1 second. Oh, snap, something went wrong. It says that it's out of memory. I can still hear you guys, so is the stream still running? I am not out of memory, so I'm not sure what it's talking about. Let's see if I can reload it. No worries, guys. Yeah, it looks like the stream's still up. Cool. Okay, we didn't completely lose it then. Night, everyone. Night, Yoshi. Night, David. Night, Robert. Night, Luca. Good to have you guys in tonight. Okay. Yeah, I just completely lost the whole browser crashed on me. I was like, ooh, fun. Yay. We had a few other people in tonight. We had Jack Pepper. We had Greg. We had Stardusted. We had Ethan. We had a few new people way up top here. I think it was just Ethan and yeah, I think that's everyone. Yeah, if I missed you, that's fine. We'll be in tomorrow. You guys all have a good morning. Thank you kindly.